Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Takedown, brought to you by Kubota Dealers of South Dakota. This is a Jackrabbit Illustrated focused, or SDSU focused podcast by Jackrabbit Illustrated. Boy, I've screwed that up every time this season. I haven't got it right once.
That's all right.
Today I'm joined by my co-hosts who are smarter than me, Alex Kankel and the good old Jordo Schoenrock. And we already got the title sponsor, Kubota Dealers, out of the way. I got to finally use the old Kubota for blowing snow. And it's, I love the thing. I wish I had a bigger driveway. It's so much fun to use.
Right.
Yeah, and more concrete, but that stuff's really expensive. Anyway, gentlemen, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
I gotta ask, does your Kubota have a cab?
It has a soft cab, yes, which makes it way better because when I stepped outside to shovel a little bit, I'm like, that's cold out. And I was in the soft cab, I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's not windy. That's what's sucking, but whatever. It's not bad.
Yeah, with that new look on your face there, I don't know. I didn't know how cold.
Hey, who's that handsome fella? What'd you do with Chad?
There's a story there. I wore purple again today because today's my mom's favorite holiday.
Oh.
And as most people may not know, but all you guys do, lost my mom 2 weeks ago, Monday. She always hated my beard, so I wore purple for her and shaved my beard. So yeah, you get this. It looks pretty terrible on here, actually.
I thought it looked great, honest to God.
I think it looks better in person. It's a little blotchy. I'm a little older. There's, some gray right there. And what do you do? But the Kubota came through. Had a lot of outreach. Maybe just take a second to thank everybody for that. It's been pretty overwhelming, actually. Been a few people reach out that I know, but I don't know, real well. But they watched my brother's sermon eulogy, and were touched by it and sent a card. I'm pretty sure that person will probably know who they are if they do watch this. They got ties to this program, actually, a little more adjacently, and that was really cool. Maybe I give a shout out. I don't think Matt will mind, but my mom loved. We're kind of going off about my mom, so I apologize.
No, take your time, dude.
My mom loved. You guys know apple grandes from Taco John's?
Yep.
You ever had those? Okay, they don't sell them regularly, and my dad really wanted to have those after her service. And I went to Taco John's in Sioux Falls. I said, I know you guys don't sell these anymore. And they're like, yeah. I said, is there any chance we could buy some fried tortillas off you? Because when I was a kid, Taco John's used to sell just crispy shells. Yep. You could buy them. Everybody went and bought them all the time.
No, and you
don't do that anymore. What's that?
Stuff, you say you get the stuff to dip them in, the
all that
or whatever.
So anyway, I asked, and they're like, well, we kind of don't do that anymore, but we just bought some more restaurants. Our group did in another area. And they said, here's our corporate number. Give them a call, see what they can do. Maybe they can find something. So I called them, and the lady's like, well, there's no managers to talk to right now. I'll call you back later. And she called me back, and she said, well, we found some. How many were you looking for? And I said, well, we'll take whatever you got, pretty much, to cut this short. And she says, I said, yeah, just let me know what they're going to be. We'll pay for them. It's not a big deal. And she says, I have to talk to them about what that'll be, and I'll call you back. Well, she called back in 5 minutes later. They completely donated them. They fried them. They put the salt the sugar and cinnamon on there, and we made them after that. So we bought the apple pie filling and the cheese, and I ground up Red Hots in a coffee grinder, which turned out really well. And we also had the last minute need for some meeting space for my mom's family, like her side of my family. I have a bunch of cousins and stuff. It was 25 people, and they thought they had a place booked up, and the guys at JJ's Wine and Spirits let us use their convention space that they have as part of their part of their liquor store and bar, and we bought all of our food from the bar. And I tried to pay them, and they wouldn't let me. So people have been really nice. It's not appreciated, and thanks to everybody that has reached out. It really means a lot. And I guess that's more than enough that I need to talk about it. I know there are other people that are related to this podcast who lost their parents recently, and my heart goes out to them too. I won't say my name, but I know y'all know who that is, and got those people in our prayers as well. I'm pretty big on faith, as I know you are as well, Alex and Jordan, and so just keep all those people in your prayers. It's never good to lose a loved one, and my mom, we were lucky to even have her in the first place. There's a whole story there, but she had an artificial heart valve that we knew could fail at any time my whole life, and she made it 46 years. So pretty spoiled to have her. And, when your time comes, God's going to take you, and we just got to do the best we can for him in the meantime. And I'll get off my soapbox. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make this about that at all. So that's 7 minutes of me talking about being overwhelmed by how nice other people are was really the point more than anything. So appreciate that. If you can help other people who are in need. I'm not often in need, and so I'm really lucky that way. But when that need was there, others helped me, and greatly appreciated. So Chad, what happened to your face? Well, you see, it's called a razor. I do know how to use one. I just look fatter without a big beard on. That's all I can say.
I thought the opposite, honestly. I was going to ask you if you lost weight. But
I honestly agree. It made you look, I think you look smaller.
Yeah, maybe it's the angle of my camera. I don't know.
Well,
I look less like I ride a Harley and more like I ride a Honda. That's for sure.
There you go. Well, thanks for sharing that, Chad. If it helps one person out there, it's worth going through that. So,
I mean, if anyone's more interested in about my mother in particular, I did post on my Facebook my brother's eulogy, like I said, and he did a good job, and it talks a lot about how much of a servant she was to everyone around, and that's truly what it's about, serving and helping others. So kind of how I was trying to say thank you to. So
yeah.
So let's talk about wrestling, shall we?
So that's what I was trying to get into. It's the most bittersweet time of the year, as I kind of said when we had Sam on a couple weeks ago, because it's almost over, but these matches mean everything now, especially this week. I mean, it's the time when you got to let it all hang out, and you got to show what you're here for. So I don't know how we want to do this. I know we got 6 guys going as the Jackrabbits, and Jordan's got some really good notes there. Do we just want to start stepping through one by one and then talk about them at their appropriate weight? Do we want to do a roundup on them first? I was kind of leaning the former, but what do you guys think you should do here? Quick on-air production meeting, I guess.
On-air production meeting, since Chad was late because he was trying to fill out his bracket, or at least his challenge.
And we'll get to that in a second here too. But how do we want to do this? Like I said, I think we can go through weight by weight.
Let's just step through what Jordo did. Let's appreciate his work, and we'll just go through what he has line by line. How's that sound, Jordan?
Good? Sounds good to me.
You want to start us off? You did the work here.
Sounds good at 125.
And I'll get the brackets up here, and we can go back.
Oh, I have those, but
you
want me to share them? Okay,
go ahead. If you would.
Okay.
So then we'll go back through and just that one piece while Chad does that. We'll hit it at the end here. But we are hosting a pool. So there's some rules and information on that. We can maybe throw the flyer up for that at the end here. But enter, it's free, and winner gets $50 to Cubbies and some SDSU and Kubota swag. Help thank them for being partners of ours and the access they have to the program. We're gonna help promote that and have a little bit of fun here. So,
can you guys read that at all?
I can.
Okay, I can't. So
you gotta scroll down. Brady's on the bottom half, but
right. No, I just had to get. I can read it on my screen. I can't read it on the StreamYard. Sure. Sorry. So that's why I was asking.
So yeah, our first qualifier, first weight class 125. Brady Roark gets one of the at-larges, and he will be the 27 seed. Jordan said, "You take it away. You did a lot of the homework on this."
So yeah, we got Brady taking on Jory Volk. Brady's a 27 seed. He'll be taking on the 5th seed. Jory Volk is now out of Minnesota or from Minnesota. It's somebody that the SDSU program in general has had a lot of regular season success against. I don't know if we've ever got him in the postseason. I think he's got our number in the postseason, but Brady, like I said, we've had success with him in the past. Brady wrestled him earlier this year, got the 5-1 or 5-4 victory in Minneapolis in that big duel up there, and we took down the Gophers. So that'll be a rematch of that one. That is actually the only rematch of the first round, to my recognition.
For us.
Yes, for us.
For us. Just to clarify. Well, I don't know. Here's my thoughts on this. You know, Brady's wrestled him tough. Obviously, he beat him. It's a different level here, but it just goes to show. Oh well, we lost everything. Did you do that? Who did that?
I went to hit mute. I hit mute and I hit my little person instead.
Hold on, let me fix this, dude.
There we go.
Let's let one guy do production. Okay.
Yeah, great.
That's fine. I'm not mad or anything. What I was saying though is this is proof, and 125 is a unique. In at least in my mind, 125 is unique in that the how close the guys are is really, really tight from bottom to top, more or less. You know, I mean, Jore's number 6 in the country. He's lost to Brady, who's 27, who got in on a, you know, the way he did. I don't know. I think this is something that he definitely could win. I don't know that I'm going to say he will, but it just goes to show in 125, it's one of those classes I feel like is pretty up in the air, even though most people would probably bet on the 1 seed.
No, and like I said, we'll go back through all the weight classes and give our national outlooks here as part of, we told the people we give them some information for their pool, so we'll do that. But yeah, if you just look at this strictly from a Jack's perspective, I mean, that is about as good a draw as you could hope for as a 27 seed for Brady, right? You got Volk first round.
If you win.
Yep. So you got Volk first round, which is a tough matchup. I mean, that's part of being a 27 seed. Your first round match is not going to be easy, but it's a guy he's familiar with. It's a guy he's beat. And then if you win, you get Klinsky or Manika. I can never say that name.
Matka. Matka.
But those are both very winnable matches for him too, in my opinion. You know, little bit, those guys kind of got some AQs for the EIWA, which is not the toughest conference as the Big 12. Well, not to get on that high horse, but we'll call that for what it is. And so I like, you know, if he's able to get through Volk, you know, I like him sitting in that Friday morning round of 16 session. Truly, I think he'll be in good shape there. You know, from there you're going to have a Nick Bazakis probably, and that's going to be that'll probably. That'll, you know, Big Ten runner up. That'll probably knock him down to the bottom side, you know, returning All-American. But there are no easy draws, truly. I mean, like I said, that's especially the 27. That's about as good as you could really hope for.
Yeah, but it doesn't take many wins if you've got two on the plus side to get through and get AA status. So if Arky, and we know that dude's super talented and he's young, so that's a bit of it, right? He's a little high and low from time to time.
Part of it is the Big 12s, to throw a little recap in there, just because we never did a recap episode last week, is I think it's going to come, you know, blue tinted glasses, sour grapes, whatever. I think he's a better wrestler than Conrad Hendrickson or Zeke Witt. I think stylistically it's just a bad matchup for him. I don't think he wrestles well against, you know, the big, tall, lanky kids, or on the converse, the super short, stocky kids. If you get a guy in there that's a normal-looking 125-pounder against him, he's way better prepared for that sort of thing.
I think you're right, Alex. I agree with that. And I'm just thinking, like, you know, this first match is pretty huge for how his tournament's going to go. He obviously could
Yeah.
still AA on the backside. I don't know. Do we want to talk at all about how that works for people that may or may not be familiar 100% with tournament brackets and how that works with wrestlebacks? I mean, big tournaments all work the same, obviously, but this is a 2-loss deal. So if he were to win, he would move on to 176. And then if he were to win again, he would move on to 343. That's the number. And then I guess we're just going to do it because I'm doing it. Sorry. Didn't give a lot of options. So if we come down to here, we would see that if he lost that match, just in our scenario where he wins the first
into the blood round.
He's right into the blood round. He's on 524. It's loser of 343. The guys kind of joke about it, how this stuff's so hard to follow. And I don't understand how it is hard to follow because it doesn't seem like it to me, but it does take a little effort. It is hard to follow sometimes the matches as they're being wrestled because there's, 4 mats going on, but you can watch the whip around and kind of catch. That's what I suggest people do. Just watch that whip or what.
Watch the 8 box.
The 8 box, yeah. They have a name.
The announcers do a good job of talking about who's up, what the big storylines are. The 8 box is your friend.
Brian Thompson joined us. Doesn't know who this guy is in the bottom corner. Does it look more like me now, Brian? Like when I'm doing a little Wilson with your comment there.
It is easy for Chad and I, Stealth Monkey. Stealth Monkey says you guys are engineers, should be easy to follow. It is for us, but it's other engineers in our group have complained about it. Cough, cough, Ben, cough, cough.
To be fair, I don't think Jordan struggles with it. So
no, I didn't say Jordan.
Just because he's not an engineer, I hate this. You know how the joke goes. How can you tell if somebody's an engineer? They'll tell you. Yeah. So let's try and avoid that a little bit. But we got a smart group overall, and some of the guys, they just don't like it. I don't know, but watch that 8 box or whatever it gets down to when we get into the blood round. I think it might be 6 then. But
you wanna fall in love with college wrestling. Everyone thinks watch Saturday finals.
No,
watch the dog bone.
Oh yeah, man.
That is, because the dog bone, for those who are familiar, so Friday night, 2 mats in the middle, semifinals, outside 4 mats. You win, you're an All-American. You lose, you're done. And it's even better in person if you get a chance to go to the NCAAs. I was very fortunate enough to go 3 years ago, most recently. And that the tension in that building on a Friday night is just unreal. I mean, it's, dare I say it's college football rivalry national championship, if not like higher. I mean, the tension from those guys wrestling that night and what's on stake, it just permeates. It's usually a packed building, so you're talking 20, 30,000 plus, depending the arena. And it is just, it's nuts.
And they're wrestling fans who are, let's just be honest,
die hard.
A little more intense too than your average college football fan. You have to love the sport to go watch the NCAAs if you don't have somebody that's actually, someone wrestling there. So.
Yeah, and we'll get to Julian Tag here. We're getting sidetracked as we often do. But Iowa fans, plug your eyes and ears. But 3 years ago, what happened? First match of dog bone night. Spencer Lee going be a 4-time champ, would be the first and only 4-time champ for the arguably most historic wrestling program, Iowa Hawkeyes, thrown to his back and stuck with 30 seconds left.
By Ramos, right?
But yeah, my Matt Ramos of Purdue. And I mean, you could have heard a pin drop in that building when that happened. I mean,
I think someone on this podcast sent me a snap recapping that today.
My snap memories have been a little disappointing. I've been big time wishing I was back in Tulsa or on my way to Cleveland this weekend, but we'll maybe get back there for St. Louis next year and for sure for Minneapolis in 2 years. Let's scroll down to 141 here. Talk about Julian Tag.
141. You want to just go all the way?
Yeah, because then we're gonna go back through for the
That's fine. That's fine. Yep.
national stuff.
I gotta find Julian. There he is in the middle. Oops, kind of got two. So, Jordan, why don't you give us a little bit of a lead in here?
Yeah, so we got Julian. Anybody that didn't know, Julian wrestled the guy that went on to win Big 12s, has yet to lose this year in the semifinals of the Big 12 tournament, and he put him right on edge. I would say very proud of Julian how he did that.
Say Sergio Vega has not been taken down all year. Neither has Jesse Mendez, the 1 seed. Once again, we won't get too far ahead of ourselves there. He's definitely the closest anyone has come. There's a couple times I thought he had him.
Yeah, it was close. I went back and watched that match specifically because Julian's one guy that's had good success this year, and we all thought there was more there. And we sat down and talked with him, and what a easy guy to cheer for. He's been through a lot. He's had moderate success, but it feels like that guy's been on the cusp for a while. This would be a great chance for him to break out. He's wrestling this guy from Lehigh. He's got a better record. It's Lehigh.
So I think that first match is winnable, and then
sure.
I think the big one that we didn't get to see at Big 12s because of the medical forfeit, or Echemendia made the finals against Vega. What am I talking about? Rematch against Echemendia from Iowa State. Once again, they were really close in the duel. Very similar how that Vega match went at Big 12s, but Julian's at another level lately. I mean, truthfully.
Yep. I do like his sauce, and he's got a good chance if he can win. Obviously, he's got to win the first one to get to the second one. The second one's winnable, but then he's on the 4 seed, and
you're on the 4 seed path, and you're looking at probably Stanek or my hot take, Manville. Honestly,
yeah, well, that could be.
I think that Manville Stanek match is a sleeper for a first round match, and Julian kind of handled Manville at Big 12s.
Yeah, kind of. That would be crazy if he could get into the semifinals. It would be awesome.
Yeah, I think this is Julian's second time being there now. He's going out at home, Ohio boy, right outside of Cleveland suburbs. He grew up, gets to go back, wrestle the last match in Cleveland. He's the 20 seed, like we said, he injury defaulted out. And I think that hurt his seeding. I would say that if I was a betting man, I'd put money on Julian winning at 141 to start the weekend. I think that's a really good draw for him. But he was around a 16 last year, so he needs to somewhere find 2 more wins to get on the podium to end his career. That's going to be the big thing there for him from last year. He's got to win 2 more matches than last year. So I think last year, and Alex, you can correct me here if I'm wrong. You guys in your engineering brains here might know this better than me, but I think round of 16.
Probably not.
I think round of 16 is a 1-2 record, right?
Yeah.
It depends on the path you take to get there.
Yeah, the path, right.
Typically.
Yeah.
No, it's 2-2.
2-2? Yeah, it would be 2-2, right?
It's 2-2 for round of 16.
Yeah, because Bennett went 4-2 the year that he placed 4th because he lost his first match.
Yep.
And won the next 3 and then lost his 4th one.
He had to win 4 straight.
Yeah.
To AA, yeah.
To get back to the Conci while we're looking at the bracket. 1, 2, 3, 4. He had to go 5-2.
5-2.
Because he lost his first one, then won 5 straight to get back to the Conci finals where he lost.
Lost his last.
Was it 5? Gosh, yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah,
that's a heck of a tournament right there. To lose your first match and then just barrel through the wrestlebacks. That's the thing of lore amongst wrestling fans.
Yeah, so Julian, really needs to hopefully wins his first one and can go a little bit farther to get to that round of 16 and then finish off strong and get them 2 more wins that he'll need there.
Yeah, so round of 16 is either 2-2 or 3-2, depending on your path when
Right.
you drop your first one.
Yeah, because if you win the first 2, it gets you further, right?
Yep.
Anyway, so
157, Cale Swenson.
get down there. I'm working on it. Sorry, there's a lot of scrolling. And where's my guy, Cale?
Top. He's
Top.
top bracket.
Oh, there he is. Yep, right up there.
16 seed, feeding into the 1.
Well, this is one of the 2 matchups we have with Bono's guys.
Yep.
It is.
Oh, yeah. We got to win these.
I don't know if anybody caught on, but if you watched the
I
thing
did.
last week, Marion Tyler was pushing real hard, and Damien was trying to keep the most straight face in the world and not feed into it. But Tyler was trying hard for.
Yeah, Tyler's like, oh, yeah, don't you think you see that very often where 2 programs match up like that in the first round back to back? And Damien kind of looked at him and chuckled like, I know what you're really saying, Tyler.
Right, I know what you're after here.
Yeah, I know what you're really saying, Tyler. That's cool. That's what makes Tyler good, honestly. We all kind of knew what he was saying in between the lines, and Damien keeps it as professional as he does, So that was a fun interview. If you haven't watched that, always all of Damien's interviews on YouTube with Tyler are great. So I don't know how they keep them so short.
Well, especially we've talked to Coach Hahn before.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how he keeps them so short. They must have a timer going off in the background. So, what do you guys think?
I think that PJ Duke matchup's winnable. Obviously Duke, and once again we'll get maybe some of this a little bit more in depth when we go for the overall view. But Duke's lone loss this year is to the defending champ in the 2 seed, Antrell Taylor. But Duke also, when you compare him to other highly ranked opponents, he doesn't have a crazy bonus rate that you would normally see out of a 1 seed. His bonus rate's 70%, which is high. Don't get me wrong, but you go through his results. I've got WrestleStat open on my screen. Number 4, close match. Number 5, close match. Number 10, okay, we got bonus there, but number 17, close match. You're picking up. So yeah, he's got bonus, but when he scores bonus, it's against lesser competition. So I wouldn't completely write Cale off there, especially like I said, Duke, first time, in those big lights under the finals. He's a true freshman. That said, probability he loses it, and I know Cale's a guy. He's true as a freshman, finished blood round, sophomore round of 16. I know that really stung him. He, wanted to take that next step and get on the podium. So he's a guy that's battle tested in those wrestlebacks, and he's definitely going to be motivated.
And he's really a tough cookie, and he knows what he's going for here. If he can, like you said, pull off that big upset, he's got to get through the first match, which I think he does. Yeah, but if he can pull off big,
no disrespect to Meckler, but especially knowing Cale dropped a couple being dinged up, I think if they're able to get some mobility back in that knee, Cale has no problem with Meckler. Truthfully.
Yeah, as long as he's got full confidence in that knee, he's kind of underrated in this bracket. And if he can pull up that upset, then you take the top side of the bracket. That's the easiest path. I mean, just by definition, I think you end up your next toughest match is going to be who? Larkin potentially, or Robidoux out of Oklahoma State. That kid's pretty good.
You find a way to beat Duke, I don't really see anyone on the bottom half there. Zerbin's kind of sneaky at 12.
Yeah, Vinny is good.
But I don't, Larkin and Robidoux, that match, that was a pretty good match at Big 12s, but I think Larkin's kind of that dude. So that's who I would foresee there.
Yeah, I would think that as well. What do you think, Jordan? Sorry, I'm staring down everybody. I have 2 screens there.
I think that
just more
ultimately, I think before Cale got hurt, I said it on the show. I don't know if we were live or if it was off air to Clay, but I said that I thought he was a top 12 wrestler at the time.
For sure.
I think that during the Big 12s, I was impressed with the way he wrestled and the way he handled his knee. And
He
I
was
think
tougher
if he
than a
keeps
$2
up that
steak
way,
at Big 12s.
yeah, if he keeps up that way, then I think he'll be blood round or could be knocking on the podium. We'll see here. I mean, emotions will have to be kept in check, which we all know if you listen to Han that emotions are tough with Swenson, but it's also time to let go. And Swenson's going to go out there and give everything he has all day long. He's not somebody you want to see in the blood round.
Yeah, I don't know that PJ Duke's going to be happy having to face off with him, honestly. Of course, a guy like that's probably not necessarily afraid of anyone. So going into it, he may not really understand what he's getting into. And I like that for us.
Well, that's some of it too. You know, you get a kid
like
that's
that
a true freshman. He doesn't know what he doesn't know, right?
Right. That's right. He's like, I'm number one. Yeah, I'm used to winning all the time. Okay. All right. Let's see.
174 Moses.
He's in the middle.
Yeah, 14 seed Logan Meyer first round, which I think is very winnable.
Well, we know nobody's going to outwork Moses. Probably no one in the entire tournament. That dude just goes. There might be dudes that work as much, but I don't know anybody's going to put in more effort. Yeah, that's definitely something he should win. Yeah, I don't know this Logan Messer. I don't know much about him. I didn't do any research on that guy, but I think he wins this one.
Pulling him up on WrestleStat, he's not even in the top 33, if that tells you anything.
Yeah. What do you think about our potential matchup with Minto, guys, out of Nebraska?
I think it's winnable.
A little bit about him.
I think it's tough. I mean, so part of it is
seeds are underrated. Yeah.
My buddy Nick Rode, who you guys have met, as entering our pool to plug that again, like we will a couple times, I'm sure, throughout the show here. So Nick just picked the entire Nebraska lineup.
Did he?
Yeah. For those that don't know, Nick's a Nebraska fan.
Just Nick, if you're watching this, better dead than red.
And so he's also a USD fan, but obviously they don't have a wrestling program. But I do think so. Kind of useless stat because Nick picked the entire Nebraska lineup. Penn State and Nebraska are the only two teams to have every wrestler picked in the pool so far.
Oh, interesting. That is.
But a lot of people are picking up Nebraska regardless of Nick. You know, the thing about Minto is he's kind of a guy where, you know, he's got wins over Carson Karkla at Ohio State, who is, what seed is he? He's fairly highly seeded. But, you know, some of the other top-ranked seeds in here. So he split with Carson Karkla on the year. He did beat Bo Montanona as well from Michigan. Once again, another fairly highly seeded wrestler.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good wrestler, yeah.
But he's lost to Alex Facundo. He's lost to Pat Kennedy. He split with Pat Kennedy, excuse me. So, yeah, it's tough. I think Moses showed with his match against MJ Gaitan. You know, Moses had Gaitan dead to rights on that double to win the match in the Conci semis at Big 12s. And it's just the size, man. It's Moses is Moses is not cutting as much weight as some of those other guys. You know, it showed. He had Gaitan dead to rights, deep in his hips, and Gaitan kind of just, you know, pancaked him over, a kind of just brute strength sort of deal. But I think Moses is technically, like we talked about some more, but technically I don't think he gets enough credit for how good he is. He's, you know, you watch his takedowns and stuff, just it's crisp, clean finishes when he can get to him. And so I think that makes him dangerous, you know, whether he's able to upset Minto in that second round or he's got to be a backside warrior. I think there's a good chance Moses can do some damage.
Yeah, I like his chances to AA in this year. Yeah,
174 is top heavy. Once again, we'll come back through, but 174 is very top heavy.
All right. Do we want to move on, or you got anything to add there, Jordan?
No, I just think that Moses is that kid that you don't want to see Friday.
Oh,
No
for
matter
sure.
who you like.
Sure.
Second day weigh in, especially if you're cutting a lot of weight, your tongue's hanging out.
And just for anybody that might be, kind of, oh, hey, what's up, Kyle? I'm not
Yeah,
being
nice.
a hostage. You guys have seen me like this before, I'm pretty sure, in my life. Although maybe, I don't know. I've had the beard for something like is it 7, maybe 9 years. 9 years. So, yeah, a long time, I guess. But for those that don't know, when we're talking about technically, we're not saying anything but about the technique that person wrestles with. So a little
Yeah.
different than with, well, that guy's technically better than this guy.
Yeah,
That's
we're not saying it like
not what we mean. Just to clarify for somebody that's not really into wrestling, because we
No, that's a
get
good point.
occasional listeners. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it. So yeah, we'll move on down to
197.
197. I got to get back over to that tab. Sorry. And 84. We're gonna pop down to 97, and we got some little guy previously at 184 pounds last year. One Bennett Berge out of Kaysen Manorville, hell of a wrestler. He's got a
Former All-American, as we talked
former
about,
All-American.
his 5-match run back in 2024.
Dude has all the technique, so technically a very sound wrestler.
Going back to that point, you want to talk about someone technically sound. Bennett Berge is technically sound.
Right. Yeah. He's got to wrestle this Wyatt Ingram, the 20 seed. So all in all, on paper, they're about a draw. That's kind of where the line is on that. And another Wisconsin guy. Sure would be nice to get two W's against the big W. And I think I'm putting money on Bennett if I'm a betting man. I'll take this match all day.
First round for sure.
For sure. Then he ends up with Sammy Sasso's brother, I guess. Sonny Sasso. I almost said Sammy. Sorry, I'm bad.
Well, so those, once again, don't know. Sammy's graduated, but Sammy is Sonny, who is the 4 seed's brother, former national champ for Ohio State. His brother Sonny now wrestling for Virginia Tech, the 4 seed in this bracket.
Virginia Tech's got a couple good wrestlers in this tournament this year.
They're a program on the rise, and they've got that with Bo Bassett decommitting from Penn State and committing to Virginia Tech. They got that Bishop McCourt pipeline. Those that don't know, they're probably currently the best high school program in the country out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, PA, right? Yeah.
Yep, Virginia Tech's got a lot of stuff going for them right now.
Yeah, the Hokies looking good. I think they could potentially steal a couple in this tournament. So that's gonna be a tough match for Bennett. I would like to see him get that match and see what he's made of, because at one point in the time this season, he was
ranked ahead of him.
He was ranked ahead of him, right? So Bennett, here's your chance to prove anybody wrong and go out with that W.
So just to pull up Sonny Sasso, so his losses: Angelo Posada, who he's split with, 10 seed Max Stout, who he's also split with.
It might be helpful if you say the team names for these guys too.
Pitt. So number 10 Max Stout from Pitt, once again, who he's split with. What is Posada's seed? I can't remember.
I'm getting there.
9.
He's a 9.
So he's split with number 19 Posada, but most recently he wrestled both those guys 2 weeks ago at the ACC championships, beat both of them. Posada in the finals, Stout in the second round. What a duel! Get the eventual, what a first round match at a conference tournament. The eventual 5 and 10 seeds against each other. But anyhow, and then his other 2 losses are actually medical forfeit. So didn't actually lose the match. He got dinged up in a match against Stephen Little, who is the 3 seed at the
Little Rock. Yep.
Had to forfeit, and then medical forfeited out of another match, which they changed the rules. So your second one counts against you too, to prevent some of the rampant medical forfeiting we had a couple years ago. So he's avenged both of his 2 actual losses on the season, so he's going to be tough. I mean, that's going to be probably one of the better second round matches you are going to see on Thursday night.
I agree. I don't know what's your thoughts on this second. We're going to assume that Bennett gets the W on the first round.
And
what do you think, Jordan?
Well, and I think Sasso still wins, but not to take anything away from Colton Hawks. Missouri transfer to Arizona State. He's a former blood round guy. So that's probably one of the better first round matches you're going to see too.
Yeah, that is true. That's an underrated guy at number 29.
Oh, 100%.
You don't want to, as the 4 seed, you're like, oh, come on now. This guy's 29.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest path for a 4 seed that you could draw out of them.
Yeah, and then he's got to go wrestle.
Matches.
Then he's got to go wrestle our stud. You know, I want to say that Bennett can pull. I believe Bennett can pull it off. Just this year's been kind of up and down for him, and I think if we look at the trajectory that we've had so far this year, I don't think it's unfair to say he might lose that. And I would not bet my house one way or another on that match. Jordan?
And I'm just laughing kind of. We talk about it more. Sasso's full draw, not to get too sidetracked there. But then his probable quarterfinal to make the podium is returning All-American Joey Novak from Wyoming. And then from there, he's got Josh Barr in the semis, who is the highest highest bonus rate of anyone in the country. I mean, just a brutal, brutal draw. But that's
who's he?
Right.
Nobody know who that guy is. Okay.
I think the only person maybe more likely to win than Mitchell Messenbrink.
Right.
Anyway, we'll get into that. Sorry.
Then we'll round it out with the SDSU portion of the show with heavyweight here.
Yeah, everybody's favorite heavyweight. Well, at least certainly ours.
Right.
Luke snuck in there. 29. He doesn't have to wrestle in, so that's nice. But he's got a hell of a draw. And this is kind of a weird stylistic matchup, at least in my opinion, based on
AJ Neville's
on frames. Right?
AJ Neville's and I were talking about this. Those that don't know, AJ Neville's former SDSU heavyweight, 2-time round of 16 guy. I work with him now. AJ and I were talking about this at work. It's like, you almost don't hate this match because Ferrari's not the type of guy that's going to score 1 million points. And Luke has big splash move potential where he can hit a 6 or 7 point move when you're not looking. And honestly, if you're asking me one of those top 4 seeds for Luke to try to steal one against, yeah, I want Ferrari.
Yeah. And Jordan, what do you think? I think our best strategy with Luke is mat wrestling. I don't think on his feet's going to be where he's going to shine with this. What do you think?
Yeah, no. If we somehow pull off the upset against AJ, it's going to be some like roll / trick little thing that Luke does best.
Dude, if he pins him in a Spraddle, I will lose my voice and my mind.
If he pins him in a Spraddle,
commit me now. Take me to Mara, because I will have lost my mind if that happens.
I will tell you what, Chad. I'll make you a deal. If Luke pins AJ in a Spraddle, I will cut one down to 197, and I will come out of the corner, and I will enter against Alex next year in the Jackrabbit Open.
And I'll find a way to make 285. How's that sound? That's that. I don't know if you know that, but that's going to be a big deal for me if I get to 285.
I mean, it'd only be 60 pounds for me, so 55 pounds
a lot for me.
And for those that maybe don't know the significance of this first round matchup, so AJ Ferrari, much maligned. I don't know how else to put it. Really, really interesting career, right? Started at Oklahoma State, won the national championship at 197 as a freshman, was in 2021. 2022, he's the top-ranked 197-pounder in the country going into Big 12s, gets in a car accident, has to miss the entire postseason.
Some things go on off the mat.
that offseason, some things go on off the mat. He's dismissed because of some legal issues, that criminal charges were dropped and civil charges were settled out of court. Won't talk about it more than that at risk of whatever.
Yeah,
But
y'all can look it up on not on Facebook, on Google.
on Google, Twitter, what have you. But anyhow, so he, because of getting dismissed, because of that legal action in 2023, misses the entire 2023 season, takes an Olympic red shirt in 2024, comes back last year, and go ahead.
Yeah, I was like,
he
you
joined
missed
the
a little bit.
WWE.
yeah, you missed the WWE.
So he technically signs with WWE because it's technically not a sport, does not waste any eligibility. Yep, forgot that part. I don't think he ever
committed to Iowa at one point. No.
So he did an Olympic red shirt at the Hawkeye Wrestling Club, which is connected to the Iowa program. Gets dismissed out of there because he gets disqualified against eventual SDSU Jackrabbit Zach Glazier in the finals of the CKI, which is the largest in-season tournament. Who was at Iowa at the time.
Had some really interesting photos of him drawn up by former national champions.
Carter Srirachi. To put it mildly, which is ironic given what has happened with him. But anyhow, finally announces he's going to wrestle at California Bakersfield, excuse
the
me.
Roadrunners. Yeah, right?
Yep. AA's at 197 last year. To his credit, stays out of trouble. Commits to UNC in the transfer portal in the offseason. Some UNC basketball portals find out about the incident back in 2023, say we don't want him associated with the university. They pull his offer, and now he ends up in Nebraska.
Yeah, it was donors, I think, that you meant to say. You said portals, but basketball donors.
Yes, sorry, I misspoke. Yeah,
that's all right. No worries.
Yeah, basketball donors, that just doesn't sum up whatever. But yeah, some high level.
UNC's a pretty big basketball school.
Well, yeah, it's not a small thing at North Carolina. Obviously,
it's not a wrestling school. It's not a football school so much. I mean, if Michael Jordan says, I don't want that kid associated with my university, they're probably going to pull his offer,
And I don't think it would have necessarily been Michael
I'm
Jordan.
not saying it was him. I'm just picking the most famous alumni.
Most famous North Carolina basketball booster. Yeah.
Right. Who has, we know, $1 billion. So, if that guy decided I don't want to be associated with that, that's probably going to be a change that's made.
So, like I said,
and he's had a good season, but he's dropped a few matches.
Well,
right?
let's not forget the good season part. He did go to Texas because he got arrested again.
Yeah, he did have to make a court appearance in Texas during the season for an unpaid speeding ticket, to be fair. But
yeah. and meanwhile, his brother seems to be on the straight and narrow, a good wrestler and keep his nose clean, but has to live under that umbrella of personality. And I don't know. I suppose you could say he's a love-hate, but at this point, I don't know. He's alienated more people, I think, than he's endured. That's not the word for. But that like him.
He does genuinely, I will say this, he does genuinely seem in the last year and a half, 2 years to have kind of
100%
turned his personality and everything around. And I admire people getting a second chance. One of completely unrelated, because we're already 50 minutes in and we got to go back through brackets to help people out with their pool picks quick here. But one of my favorite memes from this offseason was when he first moved to Lincoln. And it's like, that's national championship dedication right there. He had there's a picture of in his new apartment, he had mounted a TV and you could clearly see where he had missed the studs 4 or 5 times trying to drill holes to hang his TV mounts.
I forgot about that. That's right.
There's a guy that doesn't give up or something like that.
Like, well, maybe I'm not smart, but I'm gonna get. It's like the story of me getting through engineering school. I'm not gonna give up. By God, you'll give me a degree if I'm here long enough.
All right.
Yeah,
Should we
okay.
pop back up to 125 here?
You want to go back all the way up to let's SATB start at the beginning.
As he's
here.
scrolling up, I just want to say we have 74 entries. Blows my mind. How
Yeah.
many people have entered in this?
Once
Well,
again,
a couple are doubles, but yeah.
To recap here, thank you all that have entered so far. So those that don't know, we'll put a link in the description here on YouTube or what have you. You'll have to go find that. Look at my Twitter or Chad's Twitter if you're on Spotify.
Remind me of that when I'm doing the post-production.
I will. But we've got a pool you can enter. You can pick one wrestler per weight. You get the points they earn, and then plus or minus points based upon how they do relative to their seed. It's our first year doing this, but it's crappy this year. We'll adjust it for next year. But clearly with 74 entries, there's a demand for it. And I was telling Jordan, I'm just blown away. That is like 30 to 40 more than I expected to get. So you guys are all awesome. Winner gets a $50 Cubbies gift card and some SDSU and Kubota swag. And yeah, once again, thank you all. If you haven't entered, you got till Thursday morning, 7 or 8 o'clock. I think I have it set to shut down. So
is that all the prizes, or was there
yeah,
more? Anyway, okay. We'll talk about
we have
that
other
off air.
surprise ones we want to do.
Oh, I just was thinking about the 33 and a third, but anyway,
Oh,
moving on.
So yeah, first bracket, 125 pounds. What are you guys picking? So I guess we can do this two ways, and we'll kind of do, like I said, speed round, start at 50 minutes. But who are you picking to win it, and who are you picking for your pool? Because once again, those are not necessarily the same things, right? You're maybe trying to get some of those plus or minus points.
Well, as I alluded to, I sat and did mine who I would pick for the pool for my first entry on our forum. I'll go back and try for points. I honestly, I like Troy Spratley in this, and I know that you might have picked him for points, Alex, but
I did.
I like him to win the whole thing. Honestly, I like that guy's style. I think he's a little underrated. He can really turn it on at times. I know there are certain podcasters will like to hear me say that, but
right.
I like Spratley to win this as a little bit of a dark horse. Obviously, the 1 seed and the 2 seed are the easy picks, but if I'm picking it other than them, I'm going with Spratley, even though he's a 5, I think.
So he's the 5. His losses this year are to 12 seed Vincent Robinson, who's the defending national champ. How wild is that? He's a 12.
And he'll have to face him again.
Yeah, and they'll have to face each other in the quarterfinals.
Yeah,
which is just wild. His other loss is to Dean Peterson, who's no slouch from Iowa, true freshman. And then his third loss is to 4 seed Eddie Van Treska. But yeah, I think if I pick who's going to go all the way, I think Buzakis at the 3 seed, who we talked about a little bit, potential
he's good
matchup with Brady Roark. I think he's got the best gas tank and the best conditioning, and that goes a long way in March. But as you alluded to, Chad, for my pool pick, I picked Spratley because he's 0-3 against Robinson. So even if that I misspoke, there's second round, not quarterfinals. Even if that second round matchup, you got to face Robinson. He's due, if you believe in such a thing, because all 3 of those matches have been close, including the semifinals of the NCAAs last year. But B, Spratley's a guy where he's been there, done that. He's a senior. He's tough. He's seasoned. Even if he gets knocked down to the backside, he's coming back through.
Right. Yeah. He's
going to keep wrestling. He's going to keep whatever challenges in front of him, and he's going to get points. Vincent Robinson has been a very popular pick. He's got 4 losses, but all 4 are 2 guys. And because he only has the 1 significant win against Spratley, that hurts him in the seed matrix, especially when he finished 4th in conference.
Which good for wrestling, having an actual seed matrix that makes sense.
Absolutely. Chad and I could go on about that for hours.
The people that understand it makes way more sense than what we do in football.
Jordan, what are you thinking at 125 here?
I got the however you say his last name.
Buzakis.
Yeah, Buzakis from Ohio
Good Greek
State.
name.
I got him winning the tournament or winning. I'll just go through. I just picked winners. I didn't do points, so I'm going to do another pool. I'm going to just say quick. If you did just winners or you did just points, you can enter more than one time if you do want to enter.
We're not.
We didn't set a limit on it this year, so if you want to throw multiple out there, go for it.
Yeah, but let's keep it under 3, folks.
Yeah, because Alex has to manually track these.
Yeah, let's be nice about it, because you can have a lot of permutations and increase your odds a little bit. I mean, if you're trying to have a who wins it all versus who gets you the points, and you have 2 in there, that's fine.
Yeah, let's keep it to 2 or 3 for sure.
And if you pick all Nebraska, you only get one more pick. You don't get a third one for sure. Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt, Jordan.
Are we ready to jump to 133?
Only thing I was going to add, because it's a good segue to 133, is where are all the superstar freshmen? I mean, Dean Peterson's like the only one. It's so weird having a 125 bracket that's full of old guys.
Right. Yeah, that is true. That's typically where we see them too. I don't know, but back to your comments on our Okie State pick there. I think realistically, if he doesn't win that matchup, I think, like you said, in the wrestlebacks, I can see him getting third. I mean, that's not surprising. Sure. That wouldn't be surprising at all.
So speaking of, say, superstar freshmen.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, that was your lead in. I get it. Yeah.
No, number 1 seed Jax Forrest, number 2 seed Ben DeVino, number 3 seed Marcus Blaze, number 5 seed Kyler Larkin, all freshmen. All the star power we normally see out of those freshmen at 125, we've got it at 133 this year.
And wrestling Twitter has opinions on who's the best.
Well,
it's going to be a fun weight class.
This is going to be a fun weight class. It's pretty open.
We talked about it on the Big 12 preview, but, Jax Forrest was still wrestling in high school in December. I mean, that's just
that is insane, crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So I learned something.
1 seed at the NCAAs was wrestling high school in December. What'd you learn, Jordan?
That his family actually failed him 1 year. So he's actually older than a lot of these super seniors.
He is like college freshman age, but still just that juxtaposition is just wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you got somebody on their 10th year with their 3rd COVID waiver and their Olympic red shirt and their red shirt and their medical red shirt.
Not to call anyone out, but potential quarterfinal match for him. 9 seed Dom Serrano is a 6th or 7th year senior out of Northern Colorado.
Which that's fine. I don't really care. I mean, who are you gonna take? There's so many good picks. This one's wide open.
I picked for points Drake Ayala.
I saw that actually.
6th seed out of Iowa. He's a 2-time finalist. He's a junior, so he's made the finals every year. The streak of Iowa having a finalist goes back, 30, 40 years?
Yeah, quite a while. And
that probably rests here. That probably rests solely on Drake Ayala.
Yeah, I'd say.
He's dropped a couple, but he's tough as can be. Another popular one, obviously, is defending champ Lucas Bird at 7. Jordan picked him once again. He he dropped a couple matches at Big Tens and didn't get a chance to wrestle a lot of ranked competition the rest of the year. So once again, not having those significant victories drops you in the matrix, right, wrong, or otherwise. And then really, like I listed, any of those superstar freshmen we talked about, wouldn't shock me to see any of them standing on top of the podium Saturday night.
How did Ayala and Plays go down in the regular season? Do you recall?
No, I can pull it up quick here.
Okay.
I think Plays won.
I think he did too, but I think it was real close.
It was close from what I remember. Let's see here.
Yeah, Go
Say
ahead.
Blaze won in the Big Ten semis and the duel, but both were close decisions.
SV or sudden victory, I should say, for other
So
people.
overtime in Big Ten semis and regular decision at the duel.
What
like
was
I
the
said,
point spread on the regular duel? Sorry, I'm asking lots of questions.
he won by 2, so but it was one takedown match.
Right. So that just points to how close that really is.
Well, I was gonna say Ayala had 2 escapes. Blaze had escape and a takedown. Takedown won the match.
Right. At the end, basically.
Yep.
That's what I recall now. I think, Ayala could beat him, but he hasn't yet. It's really hard to beat a good wrestler 3 times in a row, though. And it got tighter.
Say those experienced guys get their hands on you and they get a feel for you. Hans talked about that on this show. Like, once you get hands on a dude, you can learn some stuff.
Yeah, you get more of a feel of how they wrestle. That's for sure. Jordan, what else would you like to say? Anything on 133?
I think we didn't talk about this earlier, so I will just say, if for some reason one kid does not miss his weight, doesn't be able to go, we do our wrestler.
Yep.
Kale Seaton is our guy is the alternate at 133.
Yep. So good catch because we missed that entirely. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, he's the lucky dog. He has to make weight for a little while longer just to potentially have the option.
Right.
So, those top guys aren't going to miss weight, but some of the guys in the lower rankings, it can happen. It can happen. I wonder what the percentage is of guys that actually miss weigh-ins or miss weight is what I guess I really mean.
If you're
at the national championship, it's got to be real low percentage.
Say if you don't have a pre-existing injury already that prevents you from working out or whatever, it's nothing.
Close to zero. Yeah.
I would say skin checks or injuries are what more get you in than missing weight.
And speaking of Troy Spratley, not to bring that back up, but evidently you get away in like 4 times at the Big 12s and still make weight.
Oh, that's right. He was the one that
was last year, but
that was last year. I'm not happy about that. Thanks for reminding me. Now I kind of feel bad picking that guy. That was, although to be fair, that wasn't him. That was his coach, and he has a different coach. Yeah. So 141, we got Mendez.
Mendez, undefeated returning champ. Sergio Vega, number 2, hasn't given up a takedown. Those two have never met. They certainly seem to be on a collision course for the finals.
Yep. I think that's what we see in this one, honestly.
Yeah, I got Vega.
Do you? Winning?
Yeah.
I think an interesting pick is Hardy because he and Mendez have a little bit of a rivalry. They've wrestled each other close.
Of course, you picked the Nebraska guy.
Hardy,
number 3
rated. I don't think I actually picked Hardy in the pool. I don't remember.
No, I meant you didn't, but I'm just saying on this. I actually was tempted to pick him on the pool. I think for points he might.
That is Mendez's most recent loss. It was in the Big Ten finals last year. And obviously there's a little bad blood there from NCAA's 2 years ago where the infamous viral clip of in the round of 16, Mendez catches Hardy in the spladle and sits there with him in it, crotch exposed to the TV camera for like 30, 40 seconds, whatever it was.
If you can, why not? Anyway, that's just my opinion.
Well, it was one of those things, he got near fall and was going to win the match by 1, so he couldn't let go.
Right. I understand why he did it. It wasn't just to punk the guy.
Other big, names to pick here if you're looking for some bonus. Our guy Julian Tag.
What's that?
Nasir Bailey.
Yeah.
He's a former. Say Luke Stanich, Nasir Bailey, former All-Americans. We talked about Brock Hardy. That was something Ben Pearson, who a lot of you know if you watch our other shows. Ben had texted me today, like, who do I need to look out for? And so I sent him a list that Intermat put together. There are 70 returning All-Americans this year. There's an average of 7 per weight class. It's one of the deepest NCAA tournaments ever this year across all weights. That is just nuts.
And I wonder how much of that is the PSU Oklahoma State effect.
There's for sure some of that.
Yeah.
which brings me to my pick. Thanks for reminding me, Chad. A really underrated guy who was the only Penn State guy not to AA last year. Braden Davis lost in the blood round. I think that won't sit well with him. I think he'll get some get back. So 14 seed, I think there's good value there. I took Braden Davis here.
Yeah, well, he does have to get past your boy if he wants to.
Yeah,
and
he wants to Hardy is 2-1 against him. Career.
Yeah, I think if Braden Davis does his damage, it's probably in the wrestlebacks. But who knows? Moving on to 149. Obviously, the favorite there is the 1 seed of Shane Van Ness. People that aren't accustomed to wrestling will notice that there's a lot of PSU that's
next to the 1 seed.
Next to the 1 seeds, yes. And sometimes you can buy your athletes, and I'm not saying that's what they did, but I'm saying that's what they did.
Well, it is, but it isn't.
It isn't. It has to do with coaching too.
There's a reason you have Olympic champs going there who have never wrestled folk style before to go wrestle folk style.
Sorry. Yeah. Huh. I had to cough.
And I'm a little bit partial. I like the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club coach. High school teammate of mine.
What a dirty wrestler. Let's just talk about that for a second. I did not know how dirty he was until Twitter has physically attacked him after the NDSU or Luke and NDSU deal. Like all this stuff's coming up on him.
Yeah. Alex, defend your guy. Jordan's pushing your buttons right now. What do you got to say? I saw one where he just the guy got his leg, and then that was dirty apparently. So
I have long said if you meet Thomas Gilman inside that cylinder, you're in for a bad day, and he's one of the meanest people you ever met. But if you meet Thomas Gilman at a bar, he will be one of the nicest guys you ever meet. And that's kind of just what it takes to be an elite wrestler sometimes. Thomas is one of those guys who's never afraid to do what it took to win, whether it was high school, college, or the international scene.
And here's what I say about wrestling. If it's not illegal, it may be dirty, but tough. It's not illegal. That's just wrestling, baby.
But I will.
Dude out there wins.
You guys have probably heard me tell the story, but some of our listeners maybe haven't. My one Thomas Gilman story that just what the kind of guy he is off the mat. We're going to state basketball downtown Omaha. It was a week after wrestling, so none of us are cutting anymore, right? So we have like 3 Little Caesars pizzas. We're walking down the street in downtown Omaha. We're going to walk into the venue with it because they have pretty lax food checks for state basketball, whatever. There's a homeless guy sitting there. Thomas kind of looks. He's like, we can get by with 2 pizzas, guys. This guy needs it more than us. And gave the homeless guy a pizza just completely unprompted. So that's always my story if you want to know who Thomas is off the mat.
So call him a dirty wrestler if you want, but just know he's a great human.
Exactly.
There you go.
From what I've seen and listened to you talk, he reminds me of a Mason McCormick.
For sure.
You don't want to cross that guy.
There you go. Yeah, Mason's the best dude off the field. Although Mason's maybe got a little bit of an edge off the field too. I don't know.
Well, actually, I know a story, and I can't reveal who I said it for because I don't want to get Mason or the other individuals in trouble. But Mason was at a bar, and there was a guy picking trouble, and this dude like straight punched Mason in the face. And Mason's like, because of my job and who I am, I can't hit you back, but I'm going to strongly advise you to like leave. And this guy hits Mason like 2 or 3 more times. And Mason just says, okay, we're done here. And like as much as he can without hurting the guy, carries him outside the bar and sets him outside.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I love it.
No, it 100%. It 100% is. So once again, they're restraint to show the type of guy Mason is too. So
yeah, no, I mean, I think, and by edge, I mean he really wanted to put that guy in his place. That's when I say edge. That's what I mean. Like he knows where that's at. He won't go over that line, but boy, oh boy, he would want to. In my opinion, to clarify. So back to 149. Lucas Van Ness. Who else?
pretty popular pick. Casey
Jackson.
Swiderski,
Really?
Iowa State transfer to Oklahoma State, 8 seed. There's some really good value there. Lachlan McNeil from Michigan, formerly from North Carolina, two-time All-American, former finalist. That was my pick. I think he's got a good chance, whether front side or backside, to do some damage. I think that's a standard 6-11 match in the second round there.
Right.
Where you see the upset, because you get a lot of these, especially there's some wrestling Twitter account, and I apologize for forgetting who it is, but the 5-12 and 6-11 are the biggest upsets, because that's usually where that conference finish kind of hits in the seed matrix, where you get like a third or fourth place Big 10 or Big 12 guy going against a champ from a lesser conference.
Strangely, just like the basketball tournament.
Right.
Same place you see the seed upsets.
So I think Lachlan McNeil really going into the quarters, and even Colin Grage, they wrestled before. McNeil's beat him back when McNeil was at North Carolina. I don't think they've wrestled this year, but, it would not shock me you see Lachlan McNeil. I'm obviously hoping with my pick, but you see Lachlan McNeil as an 11 seed in the semis on Friday night.
All right. Well, I think I just went pretty much. I can't even tell. Yeah, I don't remember. Is this we're on 149? I don't remember who I took.
Yep.
Who'd you have, Jordan?
Went Shane. You went Shane Vaness.
I did. Okay,
So
I went
did I.
lazy. You're right. So did you. Okay. You're obviously looking at it too. I wouldn't. Jackson Joyce, probably Cornell's best chance at a national champion this year.
There's been a lot of people picking Jackson Joy. I definitely think there's good value there.
Yeah, that's definitely a good pick for if you think who's going to win it. Let's just move on. We got to keep growing here.
So 157.
Sorry,
big story here. No, you're good. We talked about number 1 seed PJ Duke, number 2 seed defending champ Antrell Taylor. Personally, had to pick my Omaha boy, Antrell Taylor, 2 seed. Going to get it done. Going to go all the way. He and Duke are 1-1 against each other. We talked about some value picks. 5 seed Landon Robideau. Really good value there. You look elsewhere here. A lot of people picking 11 seed Ty Waters, West Virginia, Big 12 runner-up, 22-3, probably a little underseeded. I definitely think he's got a chance to end up on the podium. And then the other one I haven't seen anyone pick is just kind of a more local guy from Western Minnesota, Charlie Millard from Minnesota. Really tough draw with Vinny Serban, because those that don't know, Vinny got hurt, Big 12's injury defaulted out, so there's 2 losses on your record. So that's going to be fireworks in the first round there, but it would not surprise me to see Millard squeak through there and going on a little bit of a roll. And then can never count out, former All-American Meyer Shapiro. Got another freshman fiend on here in addition to Duke, Caleb Larkin at 4. What are you guys thinking when you look at this?
I got Caleb. Oh, go Chad.
No, you go.
I got Caleb Larkin here. I don't think that he's bad. I do want to add something about the whole Ty Waters pick that some people have taken. He was number 1 this year until Larkin knocked him off when Larkin bumped from 149 to 157.
Yeah, Waters was ranked high early in the year, and he's kind of come back on towards the end of the year here. Once Chad's done coughing, he'll give us his pick here.
I think.
Sorry, I was also getting water delivered to me to try and deal with that. I picked PJ Duke to win it, but Shapiro's a good choice. Obviously, your boy Taylor. I know why you're going to go with him. I think probably Robideau's a good dark horse choice
for sure.
Especially if you want some points, that would be a good place to try and get some value.
He's got a high bonus rate too. If you're looking for bonus,
exactly. That was going to be my next point. He's got a good high bonus rate. So again, I just picked who I thought to win. PJ Duke's going to be a tough cookie in this, and I picked him to win. So moving on to 165, which I think is probably the toughest toughest, in my opinion, match to get anything but first place.
Yeah, I think 2 through 33 is pretty interesting, but
That's what I'm saying.
your eventual Hodge Trophy winner, for those that don't know, Heisman Trophy for wrestling, Mitchell Messenbrink. Unless something crazy happens, here's the 1 seed. He's gonna steamroll his way through. Other people, SDSU fans will maybe be familiar with Nika Ruiz, Mikey Caliendo, Andrew Sparks, Joy Blaze, all guys we've seen in duels. Or not Joy Blaze. Joy Blaze more a national guy, but Sparks, Caliendo, and Ruiz. We haven't wrestled Caliendo this year, but he's a former
did we
NDSU
wrestle
guy.
Caliendo this year? I mean, we're more familiar with Frank than anyway. Sorry. So, yeah.
Ryder Downey's a little bit of a sleeper pick at 11 if you're looking for some points that way. If you don't want to go Messenbrink, but there's a reason 80% of the people that have put in submissions so far picked
this is probably going away. This is the same as last year's heavyweight pick, right? Like if we were doing this last year,
okay, but
everybody had money on Gable.
I was gonna say that's why I picked Joey this time because of
that's why you got to wrestle the matches. But
yeah, that's why they wrestle them. Purdue. What's the last? Did they have a national championship 2 years ago when you were there?
No, Ramos. 3 years ago, Ramos lost to Glory in the finals.
Okay.
Pat Glory,
Pat Glory. That's right. Yep. Sorry, I don't remember those as well.
No, it gets fuzzy for me too.
You see the same name year after year after year. We see these guys at least 4 or 5 times if they're really good anymore. And yeah. All right, we'll continue on. I think we have a consensus on who we think is going to win that one. And again, at number 1 for 174 is someone out of the Nittany Lions.
So Levi Haynes, he is the national champ at 157 2 years ago. He got beat in the finals last year by David Carr at 165. Or 2 years. No, he got beat by Dean Hamady at this weight last year. Getting all my years confused there.
Yeah, out of Oklahoma State.
Yep, formerly of Wisconsin, but anyhow.
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry. Okay, yep.
But anyhow, I think Haynes is probably the safe pick if you're going outright champ. Some value picks for your pools. Cam Steed's a former blood round guy. He's the 7 seed. Good value there. Simon Ruiz, the 2 seed. He has it pretty easy on the bottom side there, other than Steed, in my opinion. I think Haynes has a little bit tougher draw. Not that that's going to matter a ton. Number 5, Pat Kennedy out of Iowa. People have been talking for years when he's going to put it together. We talked about number 4, Carson Karkla, for a little bit here earlier in the show. Yeah, it's once again hard to go outside Haynes. I think Jared Sima at 17 is an interesting pick.
That is, yeah, he's a real good wrestler. Somewhat underrated in where he's seated.
He's around a 16er blood round guy too in the past.
I think blood round. Anyway, I picked Simon Ruiz, and I should have. I guess I misspoke a little bit earlier on Cornell having the 1. I still think that one's probably more likely. But
then he beats Haynes probably.
Yeah, then he beats Haynes. So, but I mean, it's possible we see a couple of the old Cornell bearers in the finals. A couple of them. This might be one to watch. I think he gets there. Anything else to add?
I think it's more interesting than Messenbrink's finals match will be. What do you have to add, Jordo?
I'd put my life jacket on and went with Levi for the safe pick.
Only thing I'll add, former Nebraska guy Lenny Pinto, now at Rutgers at 21. That would be a little bit of an interesting pick. Pinto's a former blood round guy, a little bit underseeded, but he's had kind of a rough regular season this year.
Yeah, sometimes when you change weights, that can happen.
Yeah, because he was what, 65?
65, I think. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, on to 84. We talked about our stud here at 84. He has to face if
you
he
don't
gets
have
to
one. You're getting
Oh,
confused. He moved up.
I am.
Remember?
I always do that. He's still an 84 pounder to me. He wrestles
So,
at 97. My
a
bad.
guy he's wrestled before is actually the most popular pick in our pool so far. Max McAnally, number 3 at Minnesota, probably had Rocco Welsh dead to rights in the Big Ten Finals. A little bit of a controversial call there in overtime. Aiden Sinclair from Missouri made me eat my words. He stormed through the Big 12s after I got done telling Sam and Jordo he was overrated. And then I think Ian Bush is a former Blood Run guy at 17. I think that's a dangerous 17 for Welsh because the point I wanted to make is Welsh wrestles way too close for me to be comfortable picking him in NCAA pools. That's a good chance that bites him on the ass somewhere here. He doesn't actively score once he gets a lead. He kind of does stalling, but not stalling kind of stuff. Other former All-American you could pick who potentially could make a run here. Number 8, Silas Allred from Nebraska. He's a guy who's been on the podium before. Eddie Knightenbach from Wyoming's been on the podium before at 6. There was a Ferrari brother you mentioned earlier, Chad. I think he's a good dark horse pick here.
Yeah, and I think if we're looking for a value pick, the guy that he probably faces in the second round, Caleb Campos, I think he can do some damage in the backside and get you some points there. I think I forgot who I picked on this one. Now that we're 84,
You have Sinclair.
I have Sinclair, right? The guy that really did well in Big 12s. It's like the absolute short snippet of your show that I caught was where you were trashing him.
Right, naturally.
And then you came
freshman,
on
unproven, and bonus his way through Big 12s. Just goes to show, don't listen to me.
I had some stuff going on back then. So anyway, we'll move on to 197.
At 184, I got Max.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to tell a little story about Max here quick. For people that don't know,
we recruited him.
People that don't know, Max's sister was actually one of my good friends in college here. She went to SDSU, and he was in middle school. Yep, and she was in middle school, and or he was in middle school and she was in college or whatever, freshman or whatever. And she showed me video of him, and I'm like, we need that kid here. And she's like, he'll never wrestle. He's going to Minnesota to play football. He doesn't like wrestling. And look how 4 years changed. You ended up going to Minnesota 5-6 years down the road. Now we're picking
the All-American last year, national title favorite this year potentially.
Yeah, all growing up, he never even wanted to think about wrestling in college, and here he is.
Wrestling's a superior sport. Us three know it.
There's another guy I hope that follows that path someday, but I'm not going to say names to make people
you
mad.
Probably gave it away there, but
he might be our next guest if we can have one more show this year.
We can. Are we allowed to bring that person on? Question mark. Might have to speak with some people. I don't know the okays there. So beating the Penn State drum again at 197. We have Josh Barr, who is undefeated on the season. High bonus rate. Hard to pick against that guy.
But I did, because I think if Rocky Elam doesn't win one this year, when does he?
That is where I hem and hawed too, Alex. I was like, well, this has got to be Rocky's shot. But then again, where I drew the line is the fact that Rocky ducked our 97 pounder in the regular season, and thus I gave Josh Barr my vote.
So I got some intel. Elam's been dealing with a pretty substantial knee injury all year, which is interesting. Can't reveal my source there, but I trust it pretty well. Not that I know a ton about Missouri. We talked about Stephen Little and Sonny Sasso.
He doesn't wrestle for Missouri anymore, by the way. Don't give away your source.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Showing my age, right?
He's a Missouri wrestler in my mind, too, honestly.
He's from the Akron Wrestling Academy. I mean, it's so weird that he's at Iowa State, but anyhow. Sometimes a change of scenery is what a guy needs, and we'll see. Cody Merrill's good value. I got one really big value pick, but I'll let you guys talk in case I steal it.
Well, I think if I'm looking value pick, I like Luke Gregg out of Ohio State. I think that's a good value pick too.
I have Josh winning it, but I'm gonna poke the bear here a little bit. I'm gonna say that your value pick is Gabe Arnold.
Yep. I saw someone else pick that, and I wasn't going to change it just because I saw that. But it's like, here's a guy who wrestles every other top-ranked wrestler. He wrestles close. He's always in good positions, and just weird stuff seems to happen to him. So if he can find a way to prevent that from happening, I think that is potential huge value at 27 if you get, even an 8th place finish out of him there.
Yeah, you probably have to do it on the backside, the
Backside.
Iowa product. He probably won't beat the guy out of Oregon State. Justin Rademacher.
You think? I could see him beating Rademacher, and then, he lost to McDaniel in the duel, but I think that was a fairly close match. I'm gonna pull that open quick just to check.
If he does beat those two, then he's gonna have to wrestle Stephen Little, and I don't think.
No, and I don't think he can.
That's a bridge too far for me. Yeah,
for sure. I would agree with that.
All right. Any other thoughts on that weight class, Jordan?
I don't got anything on 197.
I'd like to see our guy get an AA. That's my final thought there. On to the best weight class in wrestling, heavyweight, as we used to call it, 285. I don't see anybody beating Younger Bastida. I just don't. I mean, I could see it happening, but he's been wrestling the best he's wrestled. I think he wins it. I just
pop back up. Arnold beat Silas Allred at 184. He wrestled 184 in the duel against Nebraska because he's a really small 197 pounder. So he has actually not wrestled McDaniel, but he beat Silas Allred, who is the 8th seed at 184 in the duel this year.
Which tells you how good he is.
Right.
And what that says about the difference between the weights. Because he's 27 and 97, which is traditionally one of the toughest weights. But on to the best weight.
Yes, big boys. So I will just say, I probably, if you gun to my head, Bastida finally gets it done, which what a cool story, His family flees from communism in Cuba, and he picks up wrestling once he gets to the States. I mean, just a wild story there. But I had to go with my Omaha boy again, Isaac Trumbull.
Of course you did. I knew you too. I knew you would.
Also undefeated. Also a high bonus rate. Hasn't wrestled a ton this year because he's been dealing with some injury stuff. But I don't know. I'm calling it now. Tay Gadali, Big Ten champ, number 3. He beat AJ Ferrari, who we talked about in the finals, who's the number 4 seed. Either of those two guys probably good value pick.
Where do you think you see AJ actually ending up in this tournament? This one that's in front of us.
3 to 6.
Okay.
I think he makes his way to the semis and he loses to Bastida, and then it kind of depends on who he wrestles back against where. I think just stylistically, I think a rematch against Gadali, he'd win that. I don't like him against Trumbull, and I'm not just saying that because I like Trumbull. That'd be right, because I think Trumbull beats Gadali in the semis just because Gadali's your traditional heavyweight where it's going to be a slow, methodically paced match, and Trumbull is more new school style where he's going to put up points. He's going to be aggressive. And I really think that favors Trumbull. I don't really see anyone outside of Gadali in that bottom half threatening Trumbull. I don't see anyone on the top half threatening Bastida at all, even Ferrari, truthfully. Once again,
I think Doucette maybe could give Trumbull a little bit of a fight, but I don't see him
I don't
winning.
think he'll tech him, but I don't see it. I think Ferrari's honestly biggest issue is just he's undersized. We talked about how he'd been 197 last year.
He is. Yep.
And he's put on some weight, but even still, Bastida's like 250, 260, and Ferrari's 210.
That's a huge difference.
If I had to guess. And Bastida's not just like big guy who wrestles. He is a wrestler who's big. And those that watch wrestling will know what I mean by that. Bastida, especially being foreign born, the freestyle background, to use that turn of phrase again, but Bastida is incredibly technically sound.
Although I think he kind of got mad after Luke took him down.
That's the only time I think he's been taken down this year. So credit.
It might be. It might be. He was like, "What just happened?" And it was a good match to that point. And then at that point, Bastida
woke him up.
Oh no, this is not happening. And so I kind of woke up the sleeping giant, so to speak.
I was gonna say, if you want to talk about other good technical but a little undersized guys for maybe some potential style points or bonus points, Ben Keeter out of Iowa, he's another little bit undersized guy. He's like 220, 230, but very good technically. And David Zuba from Arizona State, who we talked about with Sam for the Big 12 preview, really falls into that bucket too.
I think that I have Younger winning it, but I don't know. He had a horrible Big 12. I heard he's hurt. I don't know if he was hurt or what was going on. But Christian Carroll for a sleeper at 18.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good pick. Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, we're going to have a ton of upsets. That's what's going to happen. I mean, people.
That's what makes it fun, right?
That's what makes it fun. I hope my biggest hope here, and thanks for the 5 people that are still stuck with us at 10 o'clock Central. It's my bedtime
on a Tuesday night.
The fun, if you like wrestling, and if you can just maybe if you're just wrestling fan adjacent, you can get into it a little bit more because of one of these pools. The more you get into it, the more fun it is. That's all I can say. And just stick with it. Give it a shot. Sometimes you watch that movie or that TV series that at first doesn't really catch you, and years later you go back and you're like, how did I not think this was amazing to begin with? I guess it's kind of started slow. Give wrestling the chance. I think you'll find that, like other combat sports, it's intense. I can't say enough good things. Well, Jordan, I think you probably have some parting ideas about our wrestlers. Why don't you hit us up with some of those?
I just think that I think they're going to go in and they're going to wrestle hard, and I think we're going to really find out how everything goes. I think hopefully there'll be some surprises, some people that wrestle higher than their seeds. I don't think there's anybody really in there seated right now that I think got overseeded. Listening to Damien's weekly press conference, I didn't make luncheons as I've been actually on vacation the last 10 days. And, so I didn't make the last luncheon, but I know that from what Damien said in the YouTube video, he likes 5 out of the 6 matchups more than the 6th one. And I think that we will show that as a team, and they'll go out there and wrestle pretty well, I think, this first round, hopefully.
An important note on that, Coach Hahn was actually on the seed committee this year. But those that don't know how NCAA seed committee works, he actually
has to
could not be in the room
until
our guys were seated in those 6 weights. So it was kind of almost pointless. I won't say pointless, but he was there for 40% of the conversation, basically.
Well, more than that, because it's just when we're seating those 1 guys. So
sure,
I don't think he has to leave the room when they say who is the 1 seed at 160. Sure. Oh, that's a bad choice, but who's the 1 seed at heavyweight? Well, it's not Luke, so that you don't have to be.
No, that's probably true.
I don't know how they do that. That would be a good thing to ask him, though. It would be interesting to pull back the curtain a little bit on that and see, well, if your wrestler's in that bracket, technically, even if he's not the 1 seed, he's part of the seeding discussion. How's that work? Can you stay until it's close to where your guy's seated? Because we didn't think Luke could get the 5. We didn't think
Right.
you'd get to 10. At what point do they say, okay,
You need to leave the room.
now we're in the area where we think your guy might be seated. We're going to ask you to leave. I imagine that's how they do it, but I have zero idea. What do we think we're getting for AAs, Jordan? You tell me.
Oh, my projection is
You can give me a number. You don't have to say names. That
I think I'm hoping for 1, possibly up to 3.
I have the same thoughts, Jordan. I
I
think we
do
have 3
too.
guys that
Yeah.
are capable, and I'm hoping 1 comes through for us.
I mean, if we end up with 4, I think we did real well.
Oh,
As
100%.
a tournament.
That's probably like top 5, top 10 team points at that point.
Yeah. So I don't have any more thoughts, and I need to get to bed. I hate to cut this short, but I've been sick all week too. So
No, go for it.
Should we get jacked on 3?
Sure can.
Can't
All right, well,
already.
No, let's at least plug our thing one more time.
Yep.
Before
So once again, you find our social medias. We got a Takedown Pod NCAA pool this year, $50 Cubbies gift card, as well as some SDSU and Kubota swag. And just like I said, give back to everyone that kind of watches and participates, and have a good time.
And if you're still watching, we also have NCAA tournament March
for
Madness basketball brackets that Jackrabbit Illustrated is doing as well, with some JI swag over there. So look forward to watching these matches, and it's the best time of the year. Sorry, I had to cough again.
No, you're good.
I don't have any other thoughts, and with that, let's get to the Get Jacked. 3, 2, 1. Get Jacked.